Hey, you chickadees. I'm Lay Rooster, and you're in the hen house. We've got a new patch, update patch 47 for Deep Space Nine Part 2. Alright, so Part 2, and we got all these lovely Cardassians. So lovely, we can't ever keep up with them, that's for sure. We'll be talking about that, especially with the extra grinds that are added. Can we keep up? Can you? Let me know. So we'll be looking at this. This is coming in a couple days after the launch of the patch. One, to give me an idea to go over the overview, but also to have a little bit of first impressions after kind of playing and doing some of the initial grind. There's a lot of new stuff to try out. Honestly, I'm pretty excited about a lot of it, but I do want to know about your opinions down below in the comments. And as we get into it, remember to like and subscribe and come follow for the Twitch Hangouts as well. And join the Discord, all that great stuff, Get your grandma to subscribe. We'll do the Pike cosplay on stream on Twitch once we get we hit 1,000 subscribers, and we're getting darn close. So you can help with that, and I appreciate it. Let's keep up with these Cardassians now. All right, here we go. So again, Deep Space Nine. We're getting the Bajoran faction. This is really quite a big thing for us, getting the new Bajoran faction. We kind of had an idea there was a faction coming, and people were wondering. It's the Bajorans. We're also getting the new solo Armada targets, because we need more Armadas. These have a nice little wrinkle we'll talk about. More story missions, and much more. Of course, the stories are more important right now because they're doing with the spy theme and motif that's coming out, building up to December. We're getting notifications that soon enough we may actually have a clue as to who the imposter is. So if you know who the imposter is, down below. So the Bajoran faction, let's talk about this. It introduces that. So we have the new space, and there's the Jem'Hadar hostiles, and the new solo armadas in that Dominion space. So we can do that. So hostiles and armadas sounds like Stella, and it is like Stella, but in some ways I kind of like what they're doing differently, better here. I'm digging some of it, but there's some grind for sure. We have a new faction store offering with many rewards, they claim. And again, you're going to build up your Bajoran reputation standing, and the Bajoran favors they're talking about. Now, these favors are, honestly, this is a new research tree. You know, it's kind of like when we got the Syndicate as not a faction, but yet you build up and things. It was kind of a faction. This is where the Bajoran favors are not like exocomps. These are permanent buffs. This is really a built-in research tree, which I think is pretty darn cool. And I like the way they display it visually as well for us to work on. So it kind of ties it more closely to the grind. At least it seems like to me so far. Those seem to be good. There's a lot of good buffs in there. And let me know which ones you prioritize. They do have their page that you can go to over here. So we'll give a little more information on that. Then we talk about the solo armadas that are in there with the new little insignia for them. You'll be creating the solo armadas. I know I've tried out a few of the green ones and trying to wait. There's some good sourcing on these. Many of the content creators have talked about getting more greens, getting some blues, and some epics over the course of weeks and months. Things like that. Again, it is you against the armadas. You bring 3 ships, and they only got like a 90-second timer to count down, so you need to have your ships there and ready. So this is really giving a renewed emphasis. I know that people are talking about in Alliance chat and different places like that, where you really need 3 good ships and you need 3 good armada crews. Now they're out there and there's a lot of options. So I'm curious what people are doing. Come talk about them on the live streams and share in the Discord and in the comments and all that. We did just get the Deep Space Nine Armada crew, so that can be one of them for sure. But there's some older big goodies that we get to build together. So at least in the past, you had to coordinate with your alliance. Now you can at least coordinate with yourself and make sure that the officer sets you have and the ships that you have play well together. So that synergy will give you a lot of opportunity for some theory crafting, which is kind of nice. I kind of like it. So we have an expansion to the Alliance Starbase as well. Now, they said the extension. You can get the new plasma, active plasma, some new modules, it's saying, and salvage yard, etc. Bonus loots and primes. It goes up. The module cap goes up to 24 now. So that's expanded. What I want to say, we were talking before, if you've seen my review or seen some of the talk before about the Alliance Starbase, this is a work in progress. This seems to be a mechanic that is going to build over the arc. When it came out this month, a second time, I thought, okay, maybe they're going to reveal the big stuff. I do not think, I think they haven't done that. This is definitely still a work in progress. I think they're expanding it, and we're going to see more and more features and a more robust mechanic. I would be shocked if this is the end of the Starbase within this arc. I think it's going to culminate later on, and we'll really start to see the whole picture. Now that, honestly, how Alliance Starbases go, I think will have a big impact into what we think about how the DS9 arc really is overall. So I'll be reviewing those. Check out the videos. Check out my first review in the YouTube as well. We also get the new officers. Now, we had Strike Team Tuna and all that stuff, which were really great for the battleships. Now we're getting the Cardassian Strike Team Interceptor crew. So cool, they're coming. You know, the Strike Team Explorer crew is on its way at some point, one would be sure. So we'll have just a new meta for the three. So we start off with Gul Dukat, who is going to be the epic here. His captain maneuver is Prefect Bajor. X% chance of applying hull breach to player ships on combat start if on an interceptor. It builds up, and then his officer ability, Manic Ambition, is plus X% to shot count for 5 rounds if on an interceptor and hit by a player ship with hull breach, which you'll be doing hull breach, so you'll be getting that effect too and boosting your shots while they are hull breached. Yes. And we got Damar as a rare on there. His captain maneuver is the percentage X to critical chance if on an interceptor with each critical hit made on player ships with hull breach. You know that he's not going to be your captain. Dukat is, unless you just don't have him. But his officer ability, Liquid Courage, minus X% to critical damage of player ships with hull breach for 3 rounds when critical hit by an interceptor. So you have to do a critical while they have a hull breach. Dukat's going to help you have that hull breach. And what we'll see is down below with Garrick, who doesn't exactly get along with Gul Dukat, so maybe they're throwing fisticuffs on the ship. Who knows? But his captain maneuver is plain simple Garrick. Negative X% to kinetic weapon damage each round if on an interceptor fighting player ships with hull breach. Again, the hull breach is coming from Gul Dukat for the most part, unless you're messing around with Lorca or something on the side, which we may have to do as we test. But so this is not your captain. But the officer, Outcast Spy, plus X% critical chance each round if on an interceptor fighting player ships with hull breach. So increasing that critical look starts at 30 all the way up to 60%, right? Increasing critical chance, putting that critical chance each round on the interceptor fighting players with hull breach. So with Gul Dukat on the captaincy, this guy's increasing your critical, and then going back up to Damar on that, he's going to be reducing the critical damage of the ship you're facing if they have the hull breach, and when you're hitting with a critical. So those are actually going to feed together in a nice way. Those are the officers. One thing I will say that it looks like, looking at the events, having seen them at this point in the storyline of the arc, there seems to be some wonky or difficult sourcing. I'm not seeing a lot of extra sourcing. There are 0 spend events that are currently announced for us to deal with to get this team. You get stuff through the Battle Pass. You get things from the store. There's going to be some dribs and drabs. So I think sourcing remains to be an issue, and hopefully they've got something up their sleeve that we're going to see as the month goes on, because I'm sure we want to get this team and get Strike Team Interceptor going. So let me know if you're how you're feeling about the sourcing as well down below. So looking at, we got, of course, new missions for the story. This is going to continue to be important just because of the spy motif that we're building. So the story is a little more interesting. It was a plus in my last video as far as I was concerned. So I'm looking forward to seeing what hints I can catch and see if I can catch on to some of the clues. Looks like we're going to be encouraged to share amongst our alliance about some of the possible clues so people can come to whatever the right conclusion is over time. And of course, we have the Bajoran faction missions, and that's pretty cool. So again, we've got storyline, we've got our battle pass, we've got our Cardassians. Ship looks nice, but there's no ship in this one. So we have that, and of course we're going to have some frames and avatars like usual. There is going to be a Halloween thing, so I think they have it as a surprise. So we'll have some kind of Halloween event for a couple days or so, and who knows, maybe that'll be nice. They have a real chance to do well on those holiday events, it seems. and we got some frames, and they fixed some bugs and some, other localization improvements and things like that. So pretty good. I just want to see, the sourcing for the officers, particularly Gold Ducat, is going to be important. How the starbase evolves over time in the next few arcs is super important. The grind for our Cardassians, hitting those Jem'Hadar hostiles, then doing the different purchases for the various options in the Bajoran faction store. There's a lot of currencies to deal with. It's a bit confusing, but over time you can kind of sort it out, and there's been certainly some good videos to help sort that out too. Anyway, I hope you find this helpful. I hope you'll let me know what you think down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share with your neighbors and your grandmas. All right, let's get those subscriber counts up and get those likes out there. Anyway, drop into Twitch and the Discord. Links will be below. You take care. CockADoodle-doo.